Exiting portside airlock.
We need to make our way back to the Estrella, to the auxiliary drive bay.
All right, Apollo, you're on your way. I'm waiting for my explanation.
We all agree simply transmitting Jack's consciousness into the past won't work this time. However, if we were to appropriate one of the Estrella's remaining FTL drives, the Doctor and I believe we may be able to use it to return both you and Jack to the 22nd century.
You're saying we might be able to go home?
I'm reticent to make any assurances, but yes, I believe it is possible. Assuming at least one of the drives is still operational.
I thought you said we couldn't access the drives because of all the biomass.
That was before we had the counterpulse.
Well, that's great, but do you have some way for Jack to administer it?
Jack, make your way to the nearest fabricator. I have a new modification for your shell.
Understood.
Integration successful. Your new counterpulse device is ready to be equipped.
I expect you'll find it quite an effective tool for combating the biomass.
It's a weapon?
A focused counterpulse emitter, based on a design from my own timeline and calibrated to the same wavelength as the treatment we administered via the medical pod.
Cure gun. Nice.
Understand, this device will only eliminate the older, more primitive biomass. The more evolved forms from this time period will just be temporarily incapacitated.
Regardless, it should make short work of the biomass surrounding the Estrella's FTL drives. It's possible with more research data we could refine the treatment wavelength even further, making the device that much more efficient.
Which would allow the emitter to discharge more shots before overheating.
Certainly fixed you right up, didn't we?
We're ready to proceed to the drive bay. In the meantime, Captain Rhodes, I will need you to assemble a custom gantry to secure the FTL once it's in our possession. I've already fed the necessary specifications to the fabricators.
Good. I'm in the mood for a bit of work.
Shields at 95%.
Moving out into the debris field now.
Just get that FTL and get back here quick as you can. No sense spending any more time over there than you need to.
Agreed.
Alright, let's assume this works. Let's say you two track down a working FTL. We get it hooked up and Apollo manages to recreate a physical time jump that, by some miracle, sends us back home to our own time. How exactly are we supposed to eliminate all the biomass once we're there? I mean, it's not like we can just set off a bomb and blow it all to smithereens. That's exactly what you're planning to do, isn't it?
Well, not a bomb so much as a device that will unleash a sudden and forcible burst of energy across a widespread area.
So, a bomb.
Yes, a bomb. But one that emits a counterpulse that should only be harmful to the biomass.
Brilliant.
I am a tactical AI. Most of my solutions tend to involve some form of explosion.
Uh-huh.
How will we make this device?
I mean, I could do it, but my hands are a bit tied at the moment.
I can easily repurpose existing equipment to construct a counterpulse dispersion catalyst.
A cure bomb.
Very well. Cure bomb. We will also need a means of transport, ideally one that can regulate the catalyst's energy signature.
The cargo drones should be more than capable of assembling the materials we need.
Excellent. I will transmit the details.
Wait a second. How is Jack's reboot ability supposed to work in the past without the fabricator network?
My design for our makeshift transport includes a single fabricator to accommodate Jack's reboot for the duration of our mission. Once we've detonated the catalyst and are out of danger, we can address reintegrating Jack's protocols into an Atlas network.
Assuming all this goes to plan.
Well, yes. It would be rather difficult to operate on the opposite assumption.
Shields at 95%. Shields at 95%.
I've reached the drive bay.
How's it looking there?
More or less how we expected.
That bad, is it?
Jack, the removal process will require access to several mechanisms throughout the drive bay. Any live ticks in the area will undoubtedly make our job that much more difficult.
Understood. I'll clear them out.
Our aim is to locate a viable FTL drive. We need one that is suitably infected with biomass, but not to the extent that it is overrun.
The Goldilocks FTL.
An accurate, if somewhat antiquated metaphor. Once we find a suitable drive, we'll need to remove it from its housing and extract it via the corresponding service port. The removal process is no easy task, but I can walk you through the procedure.
All clear, Apollo.
Acknowledged. Now then, we should start by identifying any FTLs that are still extractable. Look for drives whose locking pins are largely clear of biomass at the upper and lower extremities.
Understood. I'll see if there's a drive that's clear enough to move.
Anyone able to cross their fingers, do it now.
I doubt this port can open, let alone accommodate an FTL drive. Perhaps one of the other drives might yet be removed. Excessive biomass infestation. These locking pins won't be able to move. Proceeding to the last drive. This terminal controls the drive?
Yes. Eventually, the terminal will allow you to move the drive along its service channel. For now, however, there is still the matter of finding an extractable drive.
Some biomass is present, but not enough to impede the locking pins. Now to inspect the opposite end. The locking pins on this end also appear to be free of any obstruction.
Confirmed. Cursory inspection verified. Internal biomass growth is also suitable for our needs.
Is that our winner?
It certainly appears so.
So we're good to go.
Nearly. The FTL will first need to be primed, which requires filling the drive with an ionized fluid and stimulating a hybrid voltaic reaction.
Is that as dodgy as it sounds?
Priming the drive is a fairly standard procedure. Moving a drive after it's been primed is most certainly not.
How do we start the procedure?
The drive controls are offline. You'll need to initiate the process manually. Look for an access panel on the side of the FTL drive.
The internal components are infested with biomass.
Better inside than out, I suppose.
Once you locate the access panel, we can initiate the priming process.
Access panel located.
You'll have to cut your way in. Pull the lever inside and the drive will begin priming. Once the injection process is complete, I will funnel all remaining power in the drive bay to the FTL.
Drive priming initiated.
Injection complete. I will now attempt to create a sustained reaction by applying any remaining power. Stand by. Sustained reaction achieved. We're ready to remove the drive.
Outstanding.
What's next, Apollo?
The FTL drive is held in place by locking mechanisms at its upper and lower extremities. They must be manually released before the drive can be removed.
Got it. I'll release the locks.
The release mechanisms are housed within the drive moorings at both the top and bottom of the chamber. You'll need to cut your way in.
Understood. The drive's locking mechanism is inside this housing?
Correct. You'll need to cut through to open the cover.
I've gained access to the drive locking mechanisms.
The release control is located on the drive itself, between the locking pins.
Upper locking mechanism released.
Good. Once you release the lower lock, the drive should come free.
Drive unlocked.
Excellent. I've repowered a nearby control panel so you can complete the removal procedure. The controls will allow you to position the drive so it can be easily removed via cargo drive.
Moving FTL into position.
Steady on there, Jack. That's all right home.
Once the drive reaches the outer wall, you can open the... Jack, be advised. Ticks inbound.
Stand by. I'll deal with them.
They must have been drawn out by the drive's substantial energy signature.
Tick threat neutralized. Resuming removal process at the control terminal.
Once the drive reaches the outer wall, you can open the service port to make the drive available for retrieval.
The drive is in position. How do I open the service port?
Multi-operator release controls. on either side of the hatch.
Removal process complete. The FTL drive is ready to be extracted.
Good work, Jack. Drones are on their way.
Copy that.
Ready to depart with the cargo in T-minus 10 seconds. If you plan to accompany the drive, I suggest you take hold now. Departing in 3, 2, 1. Thrusters engaged.
I'm exiting the drive bay.
Give the Estrella a wave as you go. Suppose this is the last we'll be seeing of her.
I'm afraid that's not entirely accurate. To ensure we eliminate all the biomass in the past, we will need to generate a counterpulse substantial enough to blanket the entire Kronos 2 orbital sector. To do so, we will have to venture into the remains of the Estrella that were left behind in 2126, and use the ship's primary drive exchange conduit to amplify the output of the cure bomb.
Kinda grows on you, doesn't it?
Not unlike a biomass infestation.
So, where am I in all this?
I will need you to accompany us into the wreckage. As acting captain of the Estrella, your authorization is required to access the primary drive bay.
Right. Well, I've nearly finished rigging up the gantry. Should be good to go by the time the drones turn up with the FTL. I'll see you back here shortly.
Acknowledged.
Jack, I should tell you, if our plan succeeds, it is unlikely you will be able to return to this timeline. If there are any outstanding tasks you'd like to finish, now might be the opportune time.
Understood.
Alright, Doc. The gantry's rigged up. I think we're all set here.
Jack, I want to remind you again. Once we start this process, we are effectively locked in. Your shell will be exclusively paired to the fabricator on the rear of the transport rig. If you exceed its range, you will be forced to reboot. If you have any remaining tasks you'd like to address, this is your final opportunity.
I understand. I'm ready to begin.
Very well. Moving FTL into position. Everyone, keep clear.
Will do. Clamps are set. Bring her in.
How are you feeling?
Better, actually. It's weird. I didn't notice how much the infection was affecting me until I was rid of it.
Imagine if the disease had had time to progress.
I'd really rather not, thanks.
Drive secured.
Confirmed. Connection established. The FTL is now linked to the station's power grid.
Reading vigorous biomass activity within the drive. The infection is feeding off the FTL's energy field.
I assume that's good.
It's expected. Begin diagnostic and compatibility check. Verify functionality of all drive components. This should only take a moment.
No problem. We'll just sit here in nervous anticipation.
Very well.
I will admit, this arrangement feels decidedly less secure than our last jump through time.
He has a point, Apollo. You basically have us riding a literal time bomb into the past. Mind-bendingly awesome as that might sound, you are sure this is gonna work, right?
The odds of success are surprisingly favorable, especially when one considers all the variables at play.
Suppose we can work with that.
Diagnostic and compatibility check complete. Stand by while I reconfigure the FTL's drive settings to mirror the exact conditions that first sent the Estrella back in time.
Dr. Harlan?
Yes, we have to get clear of the platform. I know.
Well, I guess this is it.
So it would seem. Captain, I want to say I'm sorry. I was wrong to keep you in the dark as long as I did. Perhaps if I trusted you sooner. In any case, I hope you can forgive me, though I don't expect you to. Right. Well, goodbye.
Dr. Harlan, thank you. What you're doing here, she'd be proud of you.
She'd be angry with me.
Oh, yeah, probably. But she'd still be proud.
Thank you, both of you, for helping me put an end to this.
Doctor, we should really be going.
Yes. All right.
Good luck, Doctor.
To all of us.
FTL settings configured. As soon as the doctor is clear, we can begin spinning up the drive.
Farewell, Captain Rhodes.
Take care of him, Juno.
Of course, always. Goodbye, Jack. I will make sure to permanently archive all of the time we have spent together.
I'll miss you too, Juno.
Good luck saving your timeline.
Popcorn? All right, it's okay. Well, what do you say, Jack? You ready for this?
I think at this point it might be too late to change our minds.
Apollo, we are clear.
Very well. Commencing final jump prep.
Listen. I realized I never properly thanked you. For, well, everything.
You'd have done the same for me.
Hibernating for 4 centuries might have been a bit tricky for me to pull off.
You'd have found a way.
FTL spin-up complete. Drive reports green.
Remember, you need to trigger the device before the Indica reaches the infected zone. That should be enough to alter the course of events. Prevent the biomass from spreading.
Understood.
We'll get it done.
Transferring manual control to transport. Ready to execute jump.
Godspeed. To you both.
All right, Jack.
FTL engaged.
See you in a tick.
Jumping in 3, 2...